Welcome to Exchange Rates UK TV. It is the 9th of November 2021. Taking a look at Polkadot on the daily chart. So when Polkadot traded up to the newest all-time high that's had at 56.22, it pulled back a little bit, but it's kind of really just bounced around. It's really stayed in between that $51 and say $54 range. We haven't seen like a deep retracement at all. So, and one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is because when you get to these types of moves, and there's these big gaps in between the bodies of the candlesticks and the Tenkan-sen, there's usually a pretty quick response back down to the Tenkan-sen where the bodies actually start to close closer to the Tenkan-sen. That's not what happened here. So instead, what happened is get the sideways price action, and what is rare to have happen is for the time to kind of come back into equilibrium. So usually price corrects down to the Tenkan-sen, so it's price correcting with time and coming back into balance. But instead we have time coming into balance with price. That's not something that happens often. So what does that mean? That means that Polkadot, while it still could face a pretty deep correction up here, because it is very much at least from this perspective, it's still up quite a bit and could take a deeper retracement. But at the same time, it appears that it's developing structure that will create consolidation for a longer period of time where we won't get a deeper correction. We might see Polkadot just trade sideways for a little while. And that's not a bad thing. In fact, the consolidation after this big rise would be a sign of strength, because I think you're going to see a lot of other cryptocurrencies face a lot of selling pressure that have had some big spikes up, very similar to how you looked at Solana and Tezos and some others. But Polkadot, for whatever reason, seems to creating some type of stubbornness up here without the retracement. But if there is some type of retracement, how far would it go? What levels should we be looking at? The first one is going to be the Kijun-sen at 46.75. That's the red average here at 46.75. Below that, even deeper down, we get to the Senko Span B. Senko Span A it acts as an area of support, but it's definitely not like one of the stronger levels. But the strongest level in the Ichimoku system for support and resistance is Senko Span B, and that's the red line here. And so if we do get a pullback down to that level, we should expect to see some really responsive buying and price action at that level. We should see it hold up pretty nicely and move higher and bounce off of that, because we haven't really tested the Senko Span B. It actually hasn't been tested since it broke out above it back in August. And so that would be the first test, and it is likely to hold as a support zone. So that's something to pay attention to. Also, don't see any Kumo twists coming up here anytime soon, so nothing time cycle wise within the Ichimoku system is warning of an imminent pullback. So just keep that in mind. The only thing that does kind of point to an imminent pullback is this here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 weeks in this uptrend now. GAN cycle wise, we're talking about WD GAN, the 7-week cycle, 49 to 52 days. That is the death cycle. When things are trending in one direction after 7 weeks, typically they find some type of strong corrective move. There's a high probability of that. So that's something that I'd be looking out for. As far as, when we're talking about those lows that could be found, at the first level at 46.75. When you look at the weekly chart, not 46.75. What was I talking about? I was talking about well, anyways, sorry, I've kind of lost my train of thought there. But the Chiku span on the weekly chart is above the candlesticks and an open space. So it's on full-blown bull mode here. This just says it could keep screaming higher. the Chiku span, lagging span, probably find support against the bodies of the candlesticks below it around that $43 level if it does drop down. So just be aware of that. That's also kind of close to where the weekly Tenkan Sen is at. So that, I mean, looking at a deeper move south, that's where they could end up. But for right now, we'll just kind of leave it there and update it as needed. From all the Trade Exchange Rates UK TV, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.